I've already changed my mind again. It's all right. So I'm gonna go, yeah, bracket design. Here it goes. I already brought up, yeah, when we were talking about the swivel base that okay, it's got me needing to consider the front view because the way it's displayed is not the best, most stable part position for sure. It's like tip overable, right? And then yesterday I said maybe I would use this as my bottom and this is my front. And I do like that. It is a more stable part position. And if you've began and done that drawing like that, that is so great. I won't even like I'll totally accept it. Because that's the way when I was looking at this yesterday, that's the way I talked myself through it. Like to lay this down as the bottom, it would be a stable part position. The front view would be this surface here, and it would have great detail in the front view. So now, my other thought is, as I just opened it up this morning, I took a quick look, and I'm like, why would I do that? And then I thought, why wouldn't I just do like what is like if this is the front view as it looks to me now, why wouldn't I just lay the back view here on the bottom? And then it would be a super, I mean, that would be the most stable part position, would be to lay that down against its kind of back view as it's sitting right here. I mean, it would just be like laying down flat, super stable. It would not show the best detail though, right? Go ahead, Abigail. Oh, yeah. Do you want my screens? Yes, 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 yes. Let's do it. Yes, I will. Excellent. I think I'm just looking at it through the Moodle course here. Yeah, good. Yeah, so I'll just and I have the PDF of that already up. So I'll actually refer to my PDF here real quick. This one. Yeah, so I'm just looking at this saying, yeah, yesterday I would have laid this down as bottom. I think I'm going to lay the backside down as bottom. And my front view won't have the great, it'll still have the widest, it'll still have the width. So the widest dimension in its width. It won't have the best part detail. A lot of it will kind of be hidden. It'll look just like really thin and skinny and have this little foot that'll kind of be up on my right side end of my front view if I'm going to lay the back down. Or I should say, yeah, I'm considering if I'm pointing in this direction, that'd be my back. So I feel like that's probably how I'm going to draw this. And all I'm looking at is these criteria that I look for represents the most natural position of use. I feel like that's kind of vague unless I know how it's being used. So it's almost like I can never use that in our situation currently because we don't know its natural position of use. And so that one almost doesn't help me define a lot, but the best shape description or most characteristic contours, this is the one where I feel like what I'm saying right now could be arguable, and I really can accept this part both ways, is because um, going back to this, if I lay this side down as the bottom and this is front, this is going to show my best contour detail, and it's going to be a stable part position. It would become unstable if, well, I don't know, maybe the larger it gets. It's a pretty small part, so this allows this to be stable laying down on the as the base, just because it's kind of a small part in general. But if it was a large part, maybe like I don't know, if this was like 2 foot across or something like that, and it might not be as stable leaning up like that. And this little foot wasn't very much bigger, but this was really, my backwards P was way over exaggerated there or something. I would consider that not a great stable part, probably. It would be easy to tip over. And that's kind of one reason why I'm like, well, it's definitely not its most stable position, but it does show its best contour. So I could sit here and get in this argument match with somebody. But somebody that really knew their GD&T would probably have the best. And like I said, I'm just kind of an in-between. I didn't have to use GD&T a lot in my actual career. I did a lot of machining drawings, but we just kind of we didn't have to have the critical. There are some things that we should have because we did have mistakes made. But I was like, well, if we really were covering our bases here with GD&T, this a lot of this some errors would be prevented. But anyway, so I just feel like you could because either way I lay that down, whether the base is the back or the base is kind of that right side, they're both going to have the longest width dimension. So that one we're capturing. It would have the fewest hidden features. Well, if you put it the way with the little edge down on the base, it would then show the most features in the front view. And then most stable natural position. Okay, well, so I feel like there's some gray area. I'm going to choose to do it with this is going to be my top essentially. This surface right here will be my top. So that's the way I'm going to proceed. And this is probably going to be my left side, and the bottom that it's sitting on right now is going to be my right side. So that's the way I'm going to position this thing. I'm just going to turn it and flop it. It goes back to those first orthographic view worksheets when we were looking at like rotating an object. That's kind of where this comes into play. Sometimes when I'm given the object, I need to be able to visualize its rotation to a different view. Well, let's put that to practice now and start drawing this thing. So all I'm going to look at is in my front view, it's going to be the overall height here. This is kind of shown as height, but I'm going to turn that into width. It's going to be 5 3/4 is the total part. And then if this is my top surface, that means that this to that is going to be the height of this in my front view. So it's only going to be an inch and a half. It's going to be, pretty skinny, inch and a half high and 5 3/4 wide. And then in my top view, the different dimension is going to be the depth, which is going to be going to be from this surface over to the apex of that radius there. So this overall is going to be my depth here. So that's going to be, I'm going to need to figure it out. I feel like I got 2.875, so I might throw out my calculator. I'm just trying to figure the depth of my top view real quick. It's 2.875. And then I've got to add, that's from this surface to the center, right? 2.875 surface to center. And I just need to add the radius out to the outer edge to get the overall depth. So it's going to be plus 1.75. You see that I didn't even do that. I brought up my calculator. I'm not doing that one in my head. Probably could, but this is easier. Let's do it. Just going to be plus 1.75, right? 4 5/8. 4.625 is the depth of my part in the top view. 5 3/4, 1.5, 4 5/8. Let's do this. I'm going to go to CAD. This is inches, right? Yeah, it's inches. So I'll open my inch template. Your template should be like my template. Already has my notes that we created last time, hopefully. I have it on both of my layouts, so whichever layout I go to. I'll look at the assignment again. I can't remember how it's leaning me, and this is maybe one that I haven't. It says use 1:1 full scale to place the object, so I'll make sure that's correct. I think we determined that I did a custom scale on the last swivel base, right? I think I did a 1.5:1 scale, and I created that scale, just kind of saved it in its scale selection. And this one, I'll just look to see which one this fits on. I think it says use a B-size sheet, but I'm pretty lenient on that as long as it fits and it's readable and my dimensions aren't smashing into each other. So we'll just see how that works out. But I'm gonna go ahead and build my my planes of projection here. Let's see. 5 3/4 by 1.5 is what I have. Let's see here. Not 1.6, but 1.5. Pretty skinny. Yeah. So that's going to be it's going to be, I guess the reason why I'm picking this side is because it's definitely the most stable part position. And so that's why I'm going to pick it. My problem is that it definitely isn't going to have all the fine details. My top view is going to carry way more fine details here. So it's still going to be just going to share the width, 5 3/4. And we decided that was 4.625 in depth, right? And then I'm going to go ahead and build my entire. I think I'm going to have to do a right side view. It's always questionable. Probably with I don't know. I've got my right side view. If I look at this in this position, is going to be kind of the bottom that it's sitting on. And so I'm gonna draw it, but I guess I'll decide what I could do a rough sketch and decide what kind of details it's going to carry and if it's truly needed. But I'll go ahead and box it in right now, and I'll decide that as I kind of build out the front and top. For sure, my front and top I'm going to build out, and and then I'll just decide what I feel like I'm lacking from those, and decide if I need it in my right side view. So I know when I've done this in the past, and I've done it out of position. I think I did three views of it, and I think I did use all three views for dimensioning. So I can't, but I just can't say till I get there if I really need it. But I'm gonna just go ahead and project or build the projection plane, I think, with my 45s, right? Yep. So at least it'll be ready in case I need it. Wherever my 45 is, there's 45, there's top. Oh, perfect. Yeah, so spacebar is like enter, right? So some people push enter, so I right click. So see, mine is like a right click, repeat. Yes, but see, because my hands is not on my hand isn't always on the keyboard because I'm a 3D mouse user, even though I'm not using it right now because I'm doing CAD. I'm a 3D mouser, so I'm and you will be too. I'm gonna make you one, but not really. But when we get into our 3D program, I have my left hand on my 3D mouse. And so I'm a right click enterer. But yes, spacebar acts as enter. It's like an exit the command and enter the re-enter the command, just like enter would be. It functions the same. Good point though. Because some people prefer that. Maybe their hand is right there, more naturally positioned on the keyboard. But I'm already running this program in my unnatural form because I would be like, if you grab your 3D mouse right now, you can grab your 3D mouse. Bam, look at this. This is how I'd like zoom and pan with my 3D mouse. This is me moving my 3D mouse. But the 3D mouse is weird if you've never used it. It's a little bit backwards, and I'll go into details on how to maybe use it the most efficiently. But yeah, it can like zoom. Obviously, I can't tip and pan with it because it's not a 3D. I'm not in a 3D layout. But otherwise, I could just like roll around an object that's 3D. But for sure, even I don't use it much to do this because I use my mouse scroll mostly. But it's actually a smoother pan and zoom with my 3D mouse than it is with my clicky scroll wheel here. But anyway, yeah. Good point. I like it. This is it. This thing is ready for so that's where maybe some details from my right side view might show up, but I think I'm going to focus this one a little bit more on top view, just because I know my front view is definitely carrying less detail. So I feel like in this situation, I'm going to start building out the top view. So I'll do that. I'll just start to look at some of the details now. So I've got this big. So I'm looking at this as almost like I flipped it upside down a little bit to me. So this is my left side view right here, my left end, my left side surface. So what do we got? I need to come up from the bottom, this radius to this point here. I might start with my rounds. I really do like to start with. I've got a 1 and 7, 1 3/4 diameter and a 1 3/4 radius. And so it's going to be up 1 3/4. And from here, it's going to be over 1 3/4, right? So I feel like I'm going to draw those in. That's going to be like right here. So I feel like with my center line, sometimes I just cursor over like 1.75 and then up 1.75. This would be where my round feature is, and then my part is going to come this way. Yeah, laying that down. Yep. So it's going to be kind of like my P is going to be just totally laid down at an angle and backwards, I guess. But let's put in those circles. This is the outer one, 1 3/4 inch radius. And then I have a diameter of 1 3/4. So I could go D for diameter, D enter, or D spacebar, just like you said. And this is 1 3/4. So it's a start. And then it's just going to come here. I think there's a radius out to this leg here, and then it goes all the way, and then it has a little miter here. So I'm going to look at some more dimensions. It's 1 5/8 across this foot here. So 1 5/8. This whole surface I'll see until it breaks away there. And I really have the dimensioning. So I don't think I need the degrees. Maybe I do. I might. Actually, I might need them because I don't know how long this point is. It's not dimensioned. And so I think I am going to have to use the 4.5 across that, which is going to be my left side surface now. 4.5, and then 30 degrees down to where it hits. And that, so that I will use the degrees to establish that. And the 1 5/8. Oh, I'll take that all the way over to my circle. Maybe I'll put in a tangent line, and then I'll use a fillet to build this radius, I think. So the way I'm going to proceed is going to be kind of from this area here. This is where that foot is, and it's like 1 625, 1 5/8. And then see, it's going to come all the way back to here. And I think maybe I'll just draw it clear back to here to where it like intersects here. Because I think I 1 5/8. Yeah, and that's just me right here. Yep, 1.625. Yeah, that's this one. Yeah, heck yeah. So that kind of shows the way this is sitting down, right? And then this was, let me look again. I think it's 4.5. Yeah, 4.5. I'm looking at this dimension, 4.5, because then what I'm going to do is come over here, 4.5, and then down 30 degrees, and then I'm going to have a tangent line to that, pretty much on the quadrant there. Tangents work as quadrants when I'm definitely doing like a perpendicular or parallel line, I guess, to it. But yeah, so I think this is going to come back from here, 4.5, and then down 30 degrees. So I can just toggle on 30 and then think of which way I'm going and which one is actually 30, right? There's 90, and then 30 more would be kind of like a 60-degree angle, and then 30 more would be actually the 30-degree angle right there. So 150 is the same as 30, depends on which way you're going, which way you came from. And then it's going to go back to tangent or a quadrant in this case like that. I'm gonna try my fillet here again. I did this the other day, and I was like, I can't believe that I couldn't remember in my mind if fillet works against this, and it might just turn this one in. Let me just try. I don't know if it'll work here, but this should be a radius of a 1/2 inch, 0.5, right? Right here. Radius 0.5. I should come out and have a radius back to that 1 3/4 radius. I should have this kind of smooth transition. It probably has a little bit of a straight section because, well, it definitely does because this is where the radius would stop. That's 1 3/4. Then it has a little bit of a straight section before it picks up. So let me see. If I try to fillet this, which would be maybe a normal way that somebody might say a fillet with a radius of 0.5 from this to this. Yeah, it does pop that in there pretty good. But I don't know if it's quite right. So I think where I would hesitate on this is it really makes this like S curve like this. And I feel like I should have from center out, I should have some straight section and then pick up the radius. So in this case, I'm not going to use that. I can just tell my geometry flags are going off like I don't this is not the way that sweeps. I should yeah, I need some tangent going on here. So I think I'm going to undo that, like Control Z, or I use my undo steps. Definitely. So it's like I almost need to draw a line like this that would be, I can use just the quadrant as tangent here because that's where it's going to transition from this radius to where I go back like this. And this, I should be able to fill it now and have a totally different flow to the fillet, right? So I can just put enter because well, I don't even have to do anything. I've already entered that it's a 1/2 inch fillet. So, but that's not going to work either. It's going to do something weird. Oh no, I know. It didn't load my that's weird. I thought it would load my last 1/2 inch. It actually like it didn't do anything. Let me do my radius again. I thought it always preloaded my last one. Oh, I undid the command. Sorry, that's why. Since I undid the command, it had nothing preloaded. So now I had to re-enter 1/2 inch. Oh, that looks so much better. Yeah, I forgot. I control Z'd after I did so it didn't have any data input for the radius. So now anytime I picked fillet, it would have 1/2 inch loaded. But this looks more accurate, other than I got to do some trim out, right? I shouldn't have this. And now we're getting somewhere. And then I really should show a foot here. And so I think I need to know the thickness of that foot. It would be coming out me. It would be coming up and at me. It would really come up to where go ahead. Yes. It's all right. Right here. Oh, I actually did like I'll back up and then I'll go forward again. But what I did is I added one more line. So I brought this line out that was one and yep, and then I brought this line up from quadrant, and then I could just do a fillet right here. And it trimmed this to fit. Yeah. So once I did my fillet um with a radius of 0.5 and picked those two that I've drawn, it totally got my shape right. So I've got my fillet with a little bit of a straight section back to a nice smooth fillet. and then up. And then I trim this out just so I know this is not part of my. And then I started focusing on, well, what other details I'm missing? Well, I'm missing kind of like it's got a weird, it definitely has a fillet radius edge all the way around, which I'm not going to like. What you're seeing here is like this a filleted edge, like a rounded edge all the way around. Only this corner of this part. Everything else has a sharp 90-degree corner. You maybe have to detail that, huh? I agree. That might be where I have to pick up. This I'm catching it in the note, but I definitely want to probably show that detail if it's not going to show well. Yeah, some projections. Yeah, I love it. What I'm kind of looking to finish out my top view is maybe what this thickness is right here, because I should see and there's also some fillets going on here too, which I think they're all quarter-inch radius, but I need this 1 inch up here so I can kind of show this foot. My top surface is right here. My eyeballs are actually right here, perpendicular to this surface. I mean, I'm seeing this surface, but it's actually down and away from me. So I'm going to put in this surface that's actually right up against my eyes here. So I need to go over 1 inch, 1 inch over from that, which is my right side edge of my top view. I'm going to go over 1 inch and put a line all the way across, and then I'm going to detail out how it works with the radius later. But for sure, it's going to be like I can almost do an offset of a 1 inch, and this particular line is all I'm offsetting like that. And I might kind of be at a standstill until I do the radius stuff and try to try to determine how that actually is going to look. So this might change in the future. I think I'm going to use this to project down though and build out my front view now and just get a look at how far I can draw that out. So I think I'll project now. Maybe this down across. So that should be like the top of the foot, then it comes down. That's going to meet the other thickness of the other plate here. So um, what else am I gonna? For sure, I want that. I'm going to need this at one time, but that's kind of a feature. Maybe I'm going to just look at doing my outer profile down here first. Then I'll worry about the hidden features. So I feel like I might just start drawing that right now. If I look at how thick that is, I haven't pulled out that dimension yet, but this thickness is what I need in my front view, which is half inch. Yeah, 0.5 right here. And I'm really going to trace it pretty much all the way around to that point and then go up. Yeah, okay. So I think it's going to look like this. Maybe I'll start it here where this is the first time I pick up how high that is, but it's like half inch. Sorry, did I get that? I'm going to move to my visible layer real quick so I can see that. Half inch. And it's going to come over to that foot. And it's going to go up to the top view and over and down, and then back to here. Which kind of looks like it doesn't have the best details, right? That's where somebody could argue, oh, I wouldn't have done it that way. I would rather have the details in my front view. But you have a good top view. So it's most stable. That is for sure. It's stable. It's just laying down on its flattest side with its sharp corners down. So yeah, it's a good stable position. I don't know what other details. This will be the first time I've drawn it in this position, so I might mess up a little bit, but I don't know what other details I have here. I think I'm ready to, yeah, maybe use my right side view. I should be able to see some of the radius here though, so I feel like I could radius this. If I was looking down along this way, if I'm thinking about looking that way, this is part of that radius edge right here. And really, I could probably offset this line to show the radius in the top view. That's a detail that I think now I'm looking I could add, but this will also help establish it. Like that radius is not explicitly called out anywhere, but that's why it's carrying this note, rounds and fillets at a quarter inch. So I'm gonna go ahead and fillet my front view, this little corner in my front view at a half inch radius or quarter inch radius. Sorry. So this little part will be radiused. And I'll have some hidden, I'll have this hidden feature that will be in a hidden feature. The holes will be hidden. Definitely be a lot more projections coming down, but I think right now I'm going to do a fillet with the radius of 0.25. And then I'm going to fillet this and this, because that's kind of how that would look. And I can project that little radius up. So I'm still kind of working back and forth between my top and front, but this radius, I'll just pull it clear across. Really, it only needs to go there, but this is going to be kind of a hard line right here, but it's going to meet where I see the fillet here. So I think I can offset this to show that that's radiused on that edge. Offset this particular part, a 1/4 inch offset. And this radius is, I haven't joined anything because this will allow me to go like, oh, I'm just going to offset that in. When I look down on that radius, it'll look like that. And then this from that point there, I'm going to pick up a visible line from where that endpoint is, which is across the center here, and just draw that till it hits that miter bevel there. And that's just because that's what it looks like here, right? Like I've just kind of drawn in this radius from at least the center over and around to where it hits that projection line I did, and then I'm going to put that in as visible so I see that. I mean, it's arguable. Should I see it? It goes into that fillet question. Should I see the fillet edge? I'm going to show it here. Maybe it helps detail it just a little bit better to show that there is a radius going on. It might be hard to tell otherwise. If I didn't put in these hard lines, it would look very rectangular. So maybe in this case, it does help to add some clarity to the part. I say that with almost like when I think about the lesson yesterday and how I inflect words and I say it adds clarity to the part. That's definitely me saying maybe. I'm questioning, but I think that this is a visible line. Then I can really put in the rest here. I think I could offset this a 1/4 inch as well. So I could use the same offset in this radius. Um, just hit enter because I have the radius loaded, but right there to there, that's kind of cool. And then it gets a line right here. So we are able to pick up quite a bit of that detail, just stopping to think a little bit. And then it's gonna continue. And this is probably gonna change right here, right? Because even this corner is filleted. When I look down in it, I would see some of that radius, which is gonna be a 1/4 inch as well. I mean, I'm gonna have to come back and do that, but I feel like I'm actually gonna offset this and see a 1/4 inch on each side of that. Which I could put that fillet in here. This will help me define that. It would be this fillet radius here from that surface up to the foot is radius right here, this little radius. So I've got this surface coming up to this surface, and it would be radius, and then I would radius down into the top. So this little S radius here, which are a 1/4 inch. So I think I'll put this one in the front view, and then maybe just project it up, but it'll be about the same as offsetting the top view. And in the front view, I can do this radius as well. So let me do that. It would be this corner and this inside corner with the same fillet radius that I have going on at a 1/4 inch. Is that what I have as my radius? I think so. Yeah, 1/4 inch. Yeah, yeah. Okay, good. Perfect. Like that. I could have done multiple, but I can repeat here too with my right click. And that, oh yeah, that's kind of the contours of that. These I'm able to project up if I needed to, but it would be the same as like offsetting this upper line, right? Like this is where that I can do this because I can just trace over it. That's that projection, and then this would be this projection. So it's going to look a little confusing in the top view, I think. Like just to look at that one edge, I would have I would kind of be stacking. If I'm looking down on this, these two radiuses are kind of they look like they're anyway. They're going to be a little confusing looking here because they'll look like this is kind of the one that's furthest away from me, and then this one would come clear out, kind of. This is where you're right. Like this, what Ari said is right. Like I'm going to be able to define this one a little bit better from the right side view and maybe show the additional edge here. This one would be filleted right here as well, matching up here. Oh yeah, so it gets a little confusing, but I might do a little bit more offset if you think like I'm still working on I'm still gonna chip away a little bit here and say, well, I'm gonna do that same offset distance because this fillet right here is gonna kind of look like this, I think, and then it's gonna look like this here. That one might not let me offset right there. So to the inside, it won't with that same size. This would come across and hook to this, right? I did offset this 1.25. Yep. So that's kind of what, and this is kind of weird going on here. I might need to think about what that looks like, where these corners kind of meet. It almost might look like there's a line like this as it like comes to the side and then like turns the corner. I don't know. I might change that. I'll come back to that detail and think if that's really how it looks. But I think what I'm going to do here is do like an offset. I still got my 1/4 inch offset. And if I do this offset, it would be offset this one down. And then I need to draw a line that goes up to there. And then can I actually fillet that? Maybe not. It's a fillet with our same radius. Yeah, so where it wouldn't allow me to offset that, and it might not exactly look like that, but that is that bevel that's it's kind of weird to see. And then would I see an edge here? I'm gonna move on. It's tricky. That fillet makes it tricky. That filleted round edge. But for sure, yeah, because this one would also be kind of offset here. I feel like I should have this line continue, right? Like this to there. And then that kind of shows me where this one would come in. And then I'm gonna turn off my construction lines just for a minute. But I think it still looks kind of confusing, but we'll uh we'll we'll define our do a little work on the right side view and see what information comes back over. Let's see here. Oh yeah, I've almost forgot about it for sure. Well, I don't know. It's on center and it's in, and well, maybe not. It's not told me. It's missing dimension. Oh yeah, it's missing. Like right. Yeah, I would say there's no way to tell. This is definitely missing a dimension there. That thing is non-locatable. Has location in one direction but not the other. So that's good or not good. Let me look at my I don't think I probably didn't have it before either. So it's probably like I probably got to go like deep dive through my I think I have a drawing of this. I'll see what I use, but I have a drawing that's let me see if I can find it. I have an old drawing somewhere. And maybe it has yeah, good point. We'll find that out real quick before we move on. 0.888, 0.88 is what I have. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to add that to my drawing for sure. 0.88. That'll be critical to have 0.88. So I'll put that in right now so everybody has that if you're following along here. I'll turn them back on my construction work. So it's on center of this, right? But it's 0.88 out this way. So it's from right here in line with this. And it comes out 0.88. Probably 875 if it wasn't rounding off to 2 decimals, but I'm going to push this to a construction piece. And then it does have its diameter, right? It's like a zero. Yeah, what do I call it? I've got it rounding on that print as well, but I'll go back to this one. Yeah, 0.625, 0.625. Good. So I'll put that circle in. That's the diameter. Half of 5/8 is 5/16, which is 0.3125. I'm drawn by radius, so that's why. 0.625. Yeah. Oh, good. Yeah, yeah. I think I'm going to project across to my right side view and just see what comes over. This is going to be seen here. I'm not going to worry about I'm kind of worrying about the overall part look first, the outside edges or the visible line edges. So I'm going to take these over. This is the overall. When this comes over here, that should mean that this is 1 5/8 right here. Yep, 1.625. So my projection plane is working good. It's the right dimension. So in this view, it would look like it's just this coming up right here and comes up to the foot as well and back around. So kind of similar to this shape, I guess. Yeah. Just tracing around all of its. Oh, I did it with construction lines though. Dang it. It's all right. Let me what's the story of my life? Let's see. Oh yeah, that would go up here. Perfect. Construction lines over construction lines. Not the end of the world, but I deleted mine so I didn't have them. This is better. Yes. If you overlap construction lines, that's a good scenario. If you overlap visible lines, not great. Machine cutting doesn't like that. Not that I would do that here, but even having extra data in there that you'd be sending as a model if it was going to a 3D printer or something would want to kill those layers, which we can do. It's not the end of the world, but if I can prevent it, I will. Let's see. So now I'm thinking about looking at this this is the bottom foot surface right at my eyeballs here, and then it goes away. And I would think I would see this as a radius come across, and then I would see this come down towards me right here. So I really could extend this line down. So I'll probably use an extend command and not trim. I want to extend, which you can just type in EX or there we go. I think I would see that as the bottom foot surface. And that's where it would transition, that half-inch transition. And this I would see as a fillet radius, right? So I think I have my 1/4 inch fillet radius still. So this should be radius like that. If I was looking at the bottom of the foot, that one side would be, I think. And then this side would also be. And those fillets would the same way they're kind of like that. They would look like this here, right? Until it comes into a curve. Oh man, that's kind of tricky. This is actually kind of a hard part. This is not filleted, but I would see. Let me turn off my construction. I'm just looking at the bottom. I would see that as a sharp. Did I radius that one? Huh? I probably shouldn't have radius. I should have radius the is that correct? Let me think. Oh yeah, that's correct. I did radius this corner. Yeah, there would be a lot of hidden fillets, I think, in here for sure. But I would have, yeah, those might be definitely hidden. Yeah, this is a funny transition here. Hmm. Yeah, that's tricky. Yeah, they probably are like kind of tricky actually. Let me think if I've that one comes up and out. That one. Anything that I would take over. I think I've already kind of detailed that one over. This, I don't know. Have I drawn this before? This is kind of helpful. Maybe I even need a cheater. It's definitely a different view. Little thing there, this little thing. This it's funny that this almost looks a little clear. The way the way this has been drawn in this view, I feel like I can see the part detail just a little bit better. Still confusing in this area like mine is though. And then here I definitely have those hidden fillets showing up. Thing that I see that I don't like here. This should be, this I should definitely see. Well, I'll chip away at this a little bit. I'll do my hidden line work a little bit, decide what else I'm missing. I think this would trim out right here. 1.75 inches from the right, from the left, right here in this area here. Oh, and that's definitely what I'm seeing here, right? Like I'm showing that whole curve right here, like right here in the at the quadrant here, or actually right here. I got you right there, where this transition takes place here. I agree with that. Yeah, I think so. That's a good, like if I'm projecting from this one down, right? That's where that transition takes place. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So that would look like definitely look like a visible line. And a visible fillet, you're saying too. Like I would see this transition right here, right? It's going to chop away that. I'm going to do this, but it might chop away this line, this one right here, like that. Then I've got to redraw that line in where it takes off from there to there. More like that. This projection line. It is where that where this piece is like tapering, and then this pick up this edge. Yes, I would see that this surface as an edge down there in my front view. Yep, till it tapers back around this way. Yeah, and I was thinking about trimming out this too. Am I right here to trim this? Not really. I don't know. I put it back in there, but I feel like that's my eyeballs are weird. Yeah, and then when I if I get like where I'm like zooming in here and wondering what to do. Sometimes I'll just, well, I'll move on to my hidden line work. I know I've got like hidden line work to project through here. And maybe this is a good reason to come into my layers. And I don't have it too oversaturated, but I might come back to this layer and work on my fillets a little bit as I sit here and analyze this part a little bit more and decide if I've got the transitions right or not. But I think I'm gonna make a new layer that's just a construction layer redo here. So I just click on it and copy that title, make a new one that's got the same properties essentially. Paste that in there as construction two. Then I feel like I can kind of clean up, turn that one off and jump over to construction two. And maybe I can just focus on hidden line stuff right now and see what else changes as I go here. Yeah, I think I will project over from the top to the front. This is going to be hidden through the part. This one too will be hidden through the part, so it'll be a little confusing there. I'll kind of have a center line. I can't say that. Oh, they are on center. So actually, the center line carrying the large one and the other one, they are actually on the same center line this way. So it'll just be a single center line for both those holes. And then I will pick up this edge though here, right? This will be what's a little bit confusing. down here because this will be the bevel miter edge in the back that I can't see in this front. So and maybe I'll just trace those over while I'm thinking about them here. So I'm on my hidden line layer, and this is the outer hole or the larger hole through. This will be the inner hole. I'll just make sure. Yep, these two right here. And then this will be that one miter edge that I and then maybe it'll just help me if I jump over to center and hit in a center line here while I'm thinking about that. I can use the outer ones. That's where my center line will go. Of course, it'll be 1/4 inch extensions. Yeah, and then anything hidden in my top view? I don't know if anything's really truly hidden other than, yeah, nothing. It definitely has good details. It'll have some, I'm on my center, so I might just put the center marks in. These are probably going to work together here. I'm going to pull them together for sure. Just match those properties. These two I'll pull together. I'll just pull one, I think, to this one. Yeah, let them overlap. This one I probably should have done the outer edge. And I probably should have pulled this one. So I'll just do that. I'll just pull it out to uh, the outer. I could have picked the outermost radius. I think in this situation I probably would. Then I should have hidden details coming around. So I think I'm going to have to turn those on my first construction layer. That might be a little confusing, but I'm going to have to go back to my first construction layer because it has my projection plane here. So if I'm going to project that stuff over to the right side view, it'd be the hole. So I'll just focus on those two features, the hole for sure. It's going to come down and through here. And then the little hole as well, I should see. And I would see, so if I work on some hidden line work here now, I'll pull those two features down. The other one I would have is one more. I'd have this thing here, right? It's going to show up as a hidden line. It's just going to be really close to the hole. So I got to really be careful that I don't mess up which one's the hole and which one's that. And then I'm going to be hidden line work here. So I'll just make this easy and do this hole first. That's this hole through again here. And then this is going to be a hidden line across though, where that foot, this is transitions back to the surface away from my view. I would see that as a surface. And that's really as far as that hole would go. The little hole would only be going through this, from the bottom here to that thinner surface. So I'll just make sure which ones are the whole ones. It's the kind of the two outside ones here. So this one, zoom in here, and this one. And then this one is the miter bevel, right? It's slightly to the inside that I would see as a hidden line in the front view or in the right side view. Um, just whenever you do this kind of stuff, just be careful which ones when you snap your center lines, make sure you know which ones to snap. Like I'll do that right now while I'm thinking about it. But if I put my center line in here, I just want to make sure this is the whole center line through here like that. And then I'll repeat that over here. I think I set this one at its extensions. Yeah, so I can just match those. Then yeah, like I definitely drew my so I drew my my hidden lines that are going to be so I whenever I do my center lines, I usually base them off of hidden lines like this. And then so I've drawn my hidden lines first so that when I snap my center line, it'll be just beyond that a little bit. So I don't know if that makes sense, but I put in my hidden lines first, then I use those as to establish my center line because I use this center line command, not the center mark. And they just want you to pick the two surfaces that the center line will go right in between. So here I just had to be careful when I did that that I chose that one and that one because that's the yeah the actual hole diameter in kind of in a rectangular view. Yeah. If they were if your lines are long when you do that, it'll put in a center line to just extend beyond the. Then if your line anyway, yeah. I do think systematically a little bit, but I always put in my hidden lines first before I do my center lines when it comes to those kind of locations like that, because it'll establish my center line roughly the size I need it, and I just got to do the extension adjustment. But yeah, I don't know. I don't ever know how I mean, I kind of wonder should I show the transitions of how that turns. I don't know. It gets to be kind of a it gets to be to where a 3D program would draw this better than a 2D program. That's what I would come back to that. But I just can't tell what I would do here. Um, yeah, I don't know what's going to look best on these corners with that fillet. Let me just take a look at this without any construction line work. Hmm, filleted edge. Can't decide if I like this and if I would want that here to show like that. I might, I don't know if I'm going to like these or not. You don't have to put these in yet because I'm just kind of experimenting whether or not this is on the wrong layer anyway, but it's okay. I can't tell if I would show, I think if I'm going to show those kind of edges, do I need to show the ones where they transition and would that help it look a little bit better? Kind of where, what's that? Yeah, yeah. You kind of just try to define this to where it looks better the way you see it. I mean, I could do those. If I do that, I might put the f hidden fillets in here too. It gets kind of busy with hidden lines. Yeah, I get you. But yeah, I get you. Like this one here, it really comes out a half inch from here. 0.5 is that radius. And then maybe I would see this transition as the part transitions through there. Because that's this, that's if I had projected this and across and down, maybe I pick up a hard line like that if I'm showing all the filleted edges. So maybe I'll just draw in the filleted edges and see if I like the look of it all, how it would kind of transition. But I'm kind of just experimenting, knowing I can just delete them if I don't like them. Because it would be the same way here if I came over like a half inch, 0.5, and then I came down. That's where that big, but see, it starts to look a little confusing. I don't know. Or does this look better if I hit all of these transition points? And I don't know. Kind of hitting these quadrants is what I'm hitting. That's kind of weird because it would be, these ones get weird for sure right here because
Yeah, that would
right here, come across here.
be
So I should draw this line across, is what you're saying?
or not.
Or this one up.
It'd just be a. Yeah, it just.
Right here
No. Yeah, right.
in the inside,
The center of that. Yeah, that.
this point.
The villains are okay around that. Like trying to, I think you got the router,
Yeah,
but that's right here.
yeah. Oh yeah, you might would look more like this, yes. Let's see what I did in the
Three, make it three.
oh I know it's kind of crazy, huh? Like and then if I'm doing that, I have to kind of put in hidden lines here, they're that quarter inch. It would kind of show that. Oh man, it gets pretty tricky actually. Yeah. Let's see what I did on my other one again. Yeah, it does get to be a lot of weird. It's funny, like this one, the front view, well, it looks about like the top view, like pretty close to what I've done on my top view. I definitely put in a few. I did put in those indicators here. It does help me visually see that a little bit. I mean, it gets confusing here, but yeah, what I just did is kind of what you're saying is going on right here as well. I did tend to cap those little corners like that. I guess that kind of makes sense. And you would see this line across. Here, yeah. We that would be a hidden line work in ours. This one technically almost exposes more visible line work, and I feel like I bury that a little bit. Yeah, you're like thinking about what you just said, Ari. Would it have been better to pull a left side view? I don't know. Yeah. I think I had to chip away at that other one quite a while too. I remember making it and remember thinking, well, it's kind of tricky. How about I say I won't be too critical on your fillets for sure. That radius. Hmm. I do a little bit of offset work. This would be maybe hidden again. The question is, should I put in these or not as visible lines? I'm doing no, they would be hidden again because I'm looking at that foot on the base and I wouldn't see. I mean, if I kept these, I might extend those out, maybe. It helps to define that a little bit. And I don't know if I would do these. Does this help this one at all? That does help my eyeballs a little bit. Question this. This one shouldn't come all the way down. No, it just hits that surface, does it? That looks a little confusing to me. Sorry, this hard to see. Well, might start dimensioning, work on from there, and decide if I like it or not. Got quite a bit of space here. I haven't looked at how this fits. I have it kind of set as a one-to-one, but let me see where I'm at here. Unlock my viewport. This is B-size sheet. It was one-to-one. Probably just the spacing I have is probably going to be a little bit too big to keep. I'm gonna have to do multiple viewports, but one-to-one, I think I'll be able to fit a one-to-one on here pretty good with my three views. Potentially, I'm probably going to take three viewports of this really, just by the way I've spaced it away quite a ways. So I might focus this in. Yeah, this is the way I might not determine that I love my views yet, but I think I'm going to move on to like this is how I work is I'll be like, well, I feel like I'm pretty close. There might be some I might not be totally clear here, but let's uh let's move to the next stage and I'll come back and take a look at as I dimension it. Some things will just fall. Maybe my mind will make more sense, especially as I start to snap dimensions to stuff. Maybe I'll see things a little clearer. Try to see a little further. That's my favorite line from a Grateful Dead song. Actually, it's Jerry Garcia band song. But try to see a little further. Let's see. Make some more viewports. What I want to do. That's on the layout tab. When you're in a paper space, I'm just going to grab a rectangular viewport and say I want my top view to be up here somewhere. I'm going to repeat a viewport from my right side view. That'll be good. I'm on the wrong layer. Always with my viewports, I feel like I always put them on the wrong layer. It's actually matching the properties. It's matching the scale. It's kind of handy. This one I want to be 1:1. Oh yeah, it's good. So it's so when I'm on the paper space here, just like paper, it always develops this blue little highlighted tab that's called layout. When you're in model space, it disappears, doesn't have it. So you got to be on your layout paper space. Then the layout tab appears, and then here's your viewport palette. You can always type in viewport, I'm sure, and like just type in like if you were on here, I'm in the wrong sheet here, but if I was on this one, I type in probably view VIE. There's probably going to be a viewport right there. But I always like to, I mean, depends on you. Oh, always think if you don't know, just start typing in the first letters of it. It'll probably populate. I always try to show you where it is on the ribbon menu. It's just because I'm a clicker off the ribbon menu a lot more than maybe some people. But and it helps me while I'm teaching, especially when I'm making my videos. If I did a lot of key commands, sometimes it's hard to tell, but because my screen's the only thing recording. But yeah, right here, layout tab, viewports. You can pick different sizes. Um, yes. Hey, there's another page setup manager. There you go. There's another place to get to it. So there's like four places to get to that. Three maybe. Anyway, I just picked a rectangular one, but you can choose to make a viewport around an object as well. I think in here I've only made rectangular ones, but there's definitely different shapes you can make. Yeah, I've got them overlapping a little bit, but that's no problem. I probably need them to overlap a little bit. And then I'm gonna have to orthographically align them too. So I'm just kind of getting a taste for if is it realistic to say I can fit this 1:1 on B size sheet. And I'm getting close. When I do that, I generally make my orthographic layout on mine. I tend to make a new layer for that. So even though I haven't done a ton of work on this construction layer two, I'm gonna make a new one. Control copy, and I'm gonna call mine construction layer three. I generally put when I have to do like some orthographic alignment construction work on my paper, I tend to put that on its own layer. That's just my habits, but um, and then I just remember that I have one construction layer that's specifically for me helping align these viewports because all I do is just snap a couple lines, just if I can tell, like, well, here this is going to probably work okay, close. I like maybe the position of my front top view a little bit better, so I think I'm going to kind of think about locking it in. I can just draw this line just out. That's a non-printing layer anyway, so I mean, it looks like I'm just drawing all over my sheet, which I am. And then as far as the bot, I think I'm going to try to keep it about that high. I have a note to add for sure, but something like this gives me a baseline to align these two. I've really already aligned my top view to the left side of that. I need to align my front view. One thing to do this is just make sure that they're scaled and locked down the same. So I'll do that real quick. I haven't locked any of these because I was just looking. That's 1-to-1 though. I'm gonna lock it. This one 1-to-1. In order for this to even work, they have to be all the same scale, or else it will be worthless. But and when if I move, I'm gonna bump that. I'll have to realign them probably. So and then I just use the move command, and I'm gonna move the actually from the viewport to move it. So I'm only selecting the viewport that I'm moving, and then I get all the grips within the viewport actually, even though I'm not technically clicked into the model space from that, but I can definitely get uh, and use the grips, which is kind of handy. So that's an orthographic alignment top to front with maybe enough room to dimension. It could be arguable that I need more room above, but I do feel like most of my dimensions will be here, and I don't even know if I'll add any here anyway. Um, but if I did, I'd have to probably move this down a little bit. And I have room to add a dimension or two below it if I need to, so that's okay. And then I just need to orthographically align or move this one. Um, so I'm probably not going to worry about this being in orthographic alignment from top to, that's maybe arguable that I should, but I think I'm going to just worry about it being, so I'm going to select this viewport. I'm going to select the object within the viewport to align to here, but I guess I'm not going to worry about it being perfectly aligned. And maybe I should in the projection from here to here, because I would have to be a real specific spacing for that. But I think I'm at least going to drop it down into view with the front view to the same height elevation there. So this is just me like planning, oh, this looks pretty good. The reason why we do a lot of like projections like this is it gives us a great place to put the 3D view of the object in here. You'll see a lot of like prints done if they need all three views positioned like this with maybe the isometric view right here. Uh, And we use our isometric views to call out details, and we also use them in case the part is made of multiple parts. Like I can use my isometric view to just like a bullet or balloon the parts, the specific parts, because this could be a part with multiple parts on it. So my isometric view might carry those part balloons, and then I have a parts list right above it. So right here, use it usually on a normal print outside of CAD maybe, and in your 3D programs, I might this area would be starting to get filled with more details about this part. Could have a parts table, and it could have an actual view of the part with balloons. And so I always leave this space open for that in the future. Um, if I've taken and drawn something like this, I can drop that in there. Like this has been drawn in CAD. It's actually been drawn using the isometric of tools of CAD here. And it's kind of hard to draw this. We get to do this towards the end of the semester is draw some of our views in so they look like this, draw them in 2D so they look 3D. Then I can actually copy and paste that into my print. And anyway, that would fill out my entire drawing, which would help this particular part because it's like, well, I get a little confused of what all these are, but if I have the 3D view right here, it kind of just helps me like make sense out of it all, even if I'm missing a line or two here. Which I could definitely happen to me here on this part, but I'm going to start dimensioning this thing. Yeah, I think so. And I think I'll just call this my first video. I'll do this in two parts, I think, and call this mostly done with maybe some questions that I might fill out as I